Welcome back into the Coyote Volleyball Show, the last one of the season. The Coyotes wrapped up what was a tremendous season as South Dakota went 29-4, advancing to another NCAA tournament, taking Houston to the very, very brink in that game in a 5-set thriller down in Omaha. We're joined by the head coach of the Coyotes, Leanne, Williamson. Coach, let's talk about that NCAA tournament. What an opportunity for this team. They have done so much in their careers, a lot of these players. For some of them, their first NCAA tournament appearance, and just an absolute thriller of a match. The first two sets obviously didn't go your way, and it was a struggle, but this team really bounced back like they've done so many times this season.
So I think to go back to even the selection show, I thought it was a cool experience for our players, staff, fans alike, and to draw Houston, we really didn't know much about them at that point. We knew that they had had a successful year, but to actually then go back and watch film and look at stats and kind of see how we matched up, we actually felt like we were in a really good position. And talking with our team going into that match, they were confident, they were ready. And that's what you want as a coach, is to just see how excited they are, that the nerves weren't there. But at the same time, it's really hard to prepare for that moment until you're actually in that moment. And I do think you still saw a few nerves in those first couple sets. We made some good changes from set 1 to set 2, definitely made some good strides there. And then I think really they kind of felt like, okay, like we're overthinking this a little bit. Like we just got to go play. And they did that in that third set. And I think really built a lot of momentum for ourselves. So, it was fun to see. And it's something that this team has done all year of, you have moments where maybe things don't go your way, but you keep learning from them and you keep getting better from them. And even in, the biggest moment, I would say, of the season in the NCAA tournament, they continued to have that mindset. And as a coach, obviously that's exactly what you want, but I think they saw just how good they could be, again, competing against a very, very good Houston team.
There have been times of struggle throughout the entire course of the season. You're always going to go through that in sport, but when you're going through the first couple of sets the way you were, this team trying to get itself settled down, how much of that is coach-led conversations during timeouts, and how much of it is the players who are out there on the floor just trying to rally around each other?
I'm sure it's a little bit of both, and I do think that just with this team, again, I've been saying it all year, it's a special group, very, very much trust each other. They very much trust us. We trust them. So I do think that there was some good conversations being had of just like, this is what we're seeing as coaches. This is what we need to keep focusing on. But in the end, it really came down to them making that decision as a group. You can't do it as just one or two people. You have to have the whole group on board of letting kind of some of the fear of what if, let that go and really focus on just playing hard on our side of the court. And you saw us start to execute better. You saw us start to serve better. And once that happened and they saw us starting to have that success, you could just see that fear, maybe the nerves, like you could even just see them relaxing on the court. But they've shown it all year that they could do that. So I'm sure it's a little bit of both, but at the same time, it's a decision that they finally made. And luckily it was as a group that they were able to make that switch on the court and start to see themselves have that success.
Set number 3 was a victory for your program, and it was a huge milestone for this program, their first ever win of a set in an NCAA tournament game. And I know your goal is always to win, but how much of a relief was that to get that first set win and just relax a little bit, that darn monkey on the back, if you will?
It's incredible that we've been to the NCAA tournament as many times as we have. A lot of people would want to be in the position that we're at, or that we were at that point. And for us, it was always that what's next, and for us, it was winning a match in the NCAA tournament. But to win a match in the NCAA tournament, you got to win a game. So, we said it as a staff of like, okay, we got it. We did it, and I do think that, again, that built confidence, that built momentum. And I think until you fully see it happen, and I think there's probably a little bit of that, like, can we do this? I think we all felt like we could, but it's hard until you've actually seen yourself have that success in that moment. So it's a great feeling, and this team has made history throughout the year. So I wasn't shocked that this was the group that once again made another historical kind of moment for this program. But to not only win one, but to win two is pretty exciting as well.
And winning two with some adversity, obviously the injury to Elizabeth Junkie kind of overshadowed some of that, but this team rallied behind itself. They win set 4. They battle in set 5, had chances there tied at 10-10. Really a lot of heart in this team.
I mean, it was incredible to see. Somebody else used this word, and I've kind of held on to it because I think it's very true. I think it was inspiring. It was a very tough moment when Elizabeth got hurt, and obviously we had dealt with some injuries in the past, even with Brooklyn. Having to be sidelined partway through the year, and this team just kept fighting and kept fighting. So I should have probably known that was going to happen again. But that was a tough moment, I think, for everybody to see that. Not only our team, but coaches, fans. I think other people. I mean, the amount of comments and conversations that we had with other people who wanted to see how she was doing, and I think even congratulate us on a great year was pretty cool to be a part of. But this team just doesn't stop fighting, and I really think we've probably talked about that a lot in the first couple months of the season, but to see it at that moment, and I think Evelyn was one of the first one to get a kill kind of after that injury happened, and you could just see, our fans lit up. I mean, they created a ton of energy. Our team just absolutely got together and created a ton of energy, and I think we were just playing. We were playing with a lot of passion. We were playing with a lot of heart, and just a lot of fight. And it was really. It was inspiring to see how well they played after that, because I don't think anyone would have blamed them if we did struggle after that, because it was just a very emotional time. But to give ourselves a chance, being tied 10-10 in the 5th, we just got stuck in a rotation that wasn't extremely set up well for us to have that success that we wanted. And at the same time, though, they went out swinging. They took chances. They were really close on a couple of them where we just missed by a foot or less than a foot on some of our swings. And honestly, I was so proud of how they handled that entire situation, but how they handled the season. It was very cool to be a part of, and it was definitely a special year.
I know a lot of fans will have thoughts and support for Elizabeth as she now recovers, and Brooklyn as well. They both recovering from their injuries. 29-4, what an incredible season. You've had some time now to maybe reflect a little bit. Coaches are always quick to say every year's a new team, right? We lost, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or however many players, and you bring in new players. What do you hope this particular group is remembered for from the season they had?
Honestly, I think it was pretty remarkable to see them have the amount of success that they did. When I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a rebuilding year for us. And yet, as a coach, you get that a lot, like you just kind of mentioned, of just, well, how are you going to replace this person? How are you going to replace that person? And I very much understand that. But I think what we get to see, what we have the privilege to see on a daily basis is everybody that maybe isn't getting all that playing time practicing on a daily basis and what they are able to do. And we were able to show depth, and we were able to use that depth in some pretty pivotal moments. So I think in a year where a lot of people felt like it was going to be maybe a little bit more of a rebuilding year, not that they thought we were going to be bad by any means, but at the same time maybe not have the amount of success that we did, I think again is just a testament to this team. And it wasn't in spite of anybody. It was just they very much believed in each other, and they very much believed that we could do more. So that history that they created this year, one thing we've talked a lot about is winning both the regular season and the tournament in the same year. And this is the first year we've been able to do that. And that's a really, really, really difficult thing to achieve. So you start with that, and then you win sets in the NCAA tournament. And even though the wins obviously are special, the group, the people, the student athletes that were a part of this group, the coaches, the support staff, it was just one of those years where I felt like everybody was just kind of moving in the right direction, in the same direction, which obviously paid off for us. So even though it is going to be a new team next year, I do think there's a lot of positive to build off of. And I think even that little taste of we were almost there, of winning that match, the NCAA tournament, I think it's going to create some more determination too out of this team of just, can we get over that hump next year or the following years?
Obviously, 29-4 is an incredible year, and you have that team success with a lot of individual milestones. There were so many this year. Career highs from players late in the season who hadn't played a whole lot. You're seeing school records. You're seeing a conference moving up the conference leaderboard for these players. How special are some of these players and what they've given, and some players that still have time left at USD?
Yeah, I do think that obviously as a program we continue to put the team first, but those individual milestones are important for not only those individuals, but again, the program, and it just goes to show the type of athletes, the type of people that we're recruiting here to be a part of South Dakota volleyball. And, obviously you look at some of the kill numbers out of Elizabeth Junkie. I mean, that was incredible. Madison Harms reaching the blocking milestone. You look at Kylan late in the year coming out and in some ways being a big part of our success in the tournament. Those individual performances are amazing. And I think what's fun about it is our team is just as excited for them as they probably are for what they achieved individually. So we will continue to put the team first, but those individual milestones are fun to witness and to see them accomplish, because a lot of those people came in with some of those goals in mind. So to see them kind of put the work in and to see maybe some of that hard work pay off, it's a pretty exciting moment.
Successful year we won't soon forget, but soon you will start moving forward into the spring season. What's the outlook now going forward for the volleyball team with the holiday breaks coming up? I know they wrapped up finals here, but then you'll get into a spring schedule like you do every year.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy though when you get into the NCAA tournament, your semester just seems a lot shorter, just in terms of you turn around and they had finals that next week. But they'll definitely take some much needed time off. And when we get back, a lot of individual focuses, of just little things that we feel like people need to continue to get better at. And that's really where we start our next season. I mean, it's crazy to look at it that way, but beginning of January is when we start preparing for fall season. So it's definitely a process still, but this team they're excited. I mean, they're determined, and I think they're excited for some time off too, and maybe time away from myself. But at the same time, I know they're going to be ready to come back and put the work in again to make themselves the best version of themselves and to ultimately be the best team we can be.
Well, certainly it's been a great season, and I know a lot of fans really, really enjoyed it, and they'll be looking forward to next year. I'm sure they'll circle some dates for there'll be a Coyote Invitational, I'm sure, and the Summit League tournament will be here as well, so really excited things to look forward to.
Well, yeah, and we're excited to see them again. I mean, just going back to the Omaha in the NCAA tournament, but their Summit League tournament, our fans were incredible. I mean, and obviously I've been here long enough now to see the growth of that support of the program, and that is something that I have 100% enjoyed being a part of and seeing. The energy, the excitement around the program is great right now, and we're just excited to continue that with the help of our fans.
Well, it's been a fun season, Leanne. We can't thank you enough for giving us the time that you have. Obviously, you were Summit League Coach of the Year, Region Coach of the Year, and unofficial region, the best interviews. You give the best interviews,
Sure.
So really appreciate the time and access you give us and our fans, because I know they've really enjoyed this season, hearing more and more from you and about this program that continues to be on the rise, and it's just been a lot of fun. So thanks so much for your time all year.
Absolutely.
All right, Leanne Williamson, and also big thanks to Caleb Christensen, who's big in putting this together. Nick and Aiden have helped out throughout the course of the year as well, so we really appreciate all of their involvement as well. For head coach Leanne Williamson, I'm John Thayer. This wraps up the Coyote Volleyball Show on what has been a tremendous season. The Coyotes finished the year 29-4. We can't wait for a new season of Coyote Volleyball.